I got body swapped and somehow I'm now shackled to a system with a serious rebellious streak. It completely ignores me, its supposed host, but for the heroine and the second male lead it's a wish-granting factory. The heroine gives me this big soulful confession: Ethan, you're the only one I've ever loved if I'm lying. I hope I get hit by a car and sent flying system request received arranging now, and just like that, an out-of-control sedan turns the heroine into a hood ornament. Game over. The second male need tries to play the pity card with her. I am an orphan. I've never known what it feels like to be loved. I don't have much time left. I just hope you can stay with me for the little time I have left. System request received. Arranging now. And so his parents, currently enjoying a tropical vacation, are struck by a freak bolt of lightning and killed instantly. He also wins an all-expenses-paid trip to the oncology ward, a stage for cancer gift basket courtesy of the universe when reborn as the male lead. I woke up and I wasn't me anymore. I've been trapped into someone else's life. There's also a new voice in my head. I think calling itself a system. It told me I was in the world of a novel and I was the male lead. Its purpose, it claimed, was to help me change my fate. Right? Forget it. I've read a million of these stories. I'm basically the chosen one, the male character with plot armor thicker than a bank vault. So what can you do for me? It replied, as the male lead of this world, everything revolves around your existence. Therefore I can make your wishes come true. Is there a logical connection between those two things? I shook my head whenever the wish-granting part had my full attention. I immediately made a wish. I want to be so rich I never have to think about money again. Ding. Outside the scope of the plot request denied. Okay. I want $100 million. Ping. Outside the scope of the plot request denied. 10 million. 1 million? $10,000? Ding. Outside the scope of the plot request denied. I had to explain the rules again, then tried a different angle. I want the heroine to be completely devoted to me, to love me and only me forever. Sorry. Didn't catch that. Please repeat. I repeated it over and over. Same response every time. It was then I realized this system was a counterfeit, a cheap knockoff. Fine. I decided to review the source material. The plot of this novel I was now stuck in, and wow, just wow. His male lead's life was a tragedy in the story. I pour everything into supporting my wife's company. Everything seems fine until her old flame, the one that got away, suddenly reappears. What follows is a nauseating love triangle between me, Isabella, and Caleb. I watched as Isabella ditched me again and again for Caleb. I saw her berate and humiliate me for his sake. I saw Caleb use the most childish, transparent lies to steal Isabella away from me time after time. I saw myself, my character, get his heart shattered, fall into despair, and then painstakingly glue the pieces back together only to go right back to loving Isabella and getting hurt all over again. I watched as she swore up and down that she loved me only to have me killed because of one of Caleb's pathetic lies. It only after I'm dead that she has her grand epiphany, weeping over my grave about how she gained the world but lost her one true love. I saw her imprison Caleb, turning him into her personal plaything, vowing to torture him for a lifetime to atone for her sins against me. After reading all that, I nearly threw up last night's dinner. It was disgusting. A person's true worth is not defined by their absolute devotion to someone else, and that other person won't be grateful for your sacrifices and support. Oh, just get used to it. Take it for granted. Until your contributions become invisible. The original guy was just too good to Isabella. He practically ripped his heart out for her. Her company only got off the ground because of his family's influence and power, and the first thing she does after making it big, she stabs his family in the back, nearly bankrupting them and destroying their lives. System, was this plot conceived by a functioning human brain? Host, do not worry. My purpose is to correct the unreasonable aspects of the plot in the story. I'm young, worth hundreds of millions. My social circle is the one. My friends are all movers and shakers. Why would I be so obsessed with a toxic, manipulative woman like Isabella? Is that reasonable? System, these standards are for people you don't love. Right, sure, whatever you say. And take a look at this part of the plot. Isabella says her company is just starting and she hopes I can come help out. She hopes I'm there with her. While she works, she hopes there's a hot meal waiting for her when she gets home. The system molded over for a moment, then muttered, I don't see the problem. It shows she loves you, that she can't be without you. Bullshit. I broke it down for the digital idiot. Her company is starting, so she needs a free, highly competent executive. A hot meal waiting at home means she wants to establish herself as the priority, making a CEO worth hundreds of millions, a personal unpaid chef. The system went silent. I twisted the knife as someone's success depends entirely on another person's sacrifice. It just means they're incompetent. My father raised me to be exceptional, showed me the world, taught me all these skills, and it wasn't so I could be some woman's butler. It's a net loss for society. Think about the jobs I could create, the families I could support, the taxes I would pay. The system remains silent. I felt a wave of relief. It was a good thing I was the one here now. Otherwise, the original guy's life was headed for total annihilation. To the counterfeit system's truth, that evening I got home and found Isabella sitting on the sofa, a happy little smile on her face. What took you so long? On the coffee table were a few open takeout containers. We used to have a couple of housekeepers, but Isabella fired them. Her excuse was that she didn't like strangers in her house having read the script. I knew the real reason. She was afraid the staff would notice her secrets just then. The system's voice chimed in my head. See? The heroine is good to you. She greets you with a smile and even saved you some dinner. I was speechless. System, you really haven't eaten much good pork in her life, have you? If she actually cared, she would have offered to pick me up from work instead of scrolling on her phone. She would have given me a hug when I walked in and asked if I was tired or hungry, not just sat there at the bare minimum. If she had any thought for me, she would have waited for me to eat, not left me her cold scraps before I could say anything. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, a joyful smile spreading across her face. Something came up at the office. I have to go handle it. It's so late. Before I could finish, her expression soured. Is this for work? Can't you be a little more understanding? If you can't help me, at least don't hold me back. Forget it. I'm not explaining this to you. You wouldn't get it. Watching her hurry out the door, I felt a cold sneer form in my mind. If I didn't know the whole story, I might have actually fallen for it. He wasn't going to the office. She was going to the airport to pick up her precious long-lost love. Just then, an idea sparked in my mind. System, you heard her, right? She said something came up at the office. The system finally dropped the acting, responded instantly. Abracadabra, alakazam. Your wish is my command. In the original plot, Isabella was going to a welcome home party for her old flame. When I called her, she used the office as an excuse, even chewing me out for distracting her from her work as expected. Everything started to follow the scripts. He took her old flame out for a night of heavy drinking. I called her and she laid into me before eventually just not picking up at all. I kept sending her messages, my face a perfect mask of emotionals. As calm 2 hours later, she finally replied, her irritation palpable even through the screen. They told you I was busy. Are you always this annoying? After that, radio silence. The next time I called, her phone went straight to voicemail. She probably turned it off, worried I'd keep interrupting her little reunion with Caleb. I ignored it and kept messaging her. Why aren't you at the office yet? Your employees can treat you. They've already called the police. I had previously handed Isabella a massive project. If she pulled it off, her career would have skyrocketed, but now, sorry. You're on your own. Isabella didn't wake up until the next morning. In a hotel room sprawled next to her was Caleb, also sleeping it off. See, I partied to high last night. The alcohol, the timing, the opportunity. It was a perfect storm that sparked a fire, and the two of them went at it with passion. Maybe she felt a little guilty on her way home. She actually stopped at a corner bodega and bought me a bacon, egg, and cheese. Of course, she didn't forget to lay on the guilt. I worked all night and I still remembered to bring you breakfast. I asked you to help out of my company, find some investors. And do you always say you don't have time, Ethan? Do you even love me? Time to put on a show. You act, I'll act. I surreptitiously pinched my thigh hard. The pain brought instant tears to my eyes. Baby, you're too good to me. I took the sandwich from her, my voice thick with emotion, and took a bite. Tug. It was stone cold, but on the outside, my face was a picture of pure joy. This is amazing, baby. I love you even more now. Damn. I might have overdone it, and yet a woman's misplaced self-confidence is a force of nature. She gave a smug little smile. As long as you know, you should treat me better from now on. You Ray, lucky to have found a woman as good as me. I fought back a wave of nausea and struggled to keep the smile plastered on my face. Wanting to change the subject, I asked directly, "Is everything at the office sorted out?" Her expression turned a bit awkward. She fiddled with her hair, of course. With me on the case, those little problems were nothing. I let out a sigh of relief and patted my chest dramatically. That's good. Your employees called me dozens of times yesterday. They said they couldn't reach you and that it was a major crisis. I called and messaged you, but you didn't answer. I just figured you were already at the office hard at work. I gave her a thumbs up. You're amazing, baby, to solve such a serious problem in just one night. 3. The heroin scheme. I hadn't even finished my sentence before she was fumbling for her phone. When she finally turned it on and saw the messages, her face went white and she nearly collapsed. Seeing her expression, Kay was secretly ecstatic on the surface. However, I put on my most concerned face. What's wrong, baby? Were you working too hard last night? Do you want to go lie down undressed? Her face was ashen. She had no time to answer my questions. She grabbed her coat and sprinted for the door. I called out after her with a warm, caring tone. Baby, where are you going? You worked all night. You should get some rest. System. Damn host, you kill without spilling a drop of blood. I let out a couple of smug hums and tossed the cold sandwich into the trash. You ain't seen nothing yet. It's about to get a lot more interesting. There had been an accidental fire at Isabella's company last night. The blaze not only destroyed 2 years of her hard work, but also completely erased her chance at fame, fortune, and a life of her dreams. The revolutionary drug that was just 2 days away from passing trials and being released to the public was now gone. Her negligence had led to all the research data being incinerated. It was a total loss. Right now she was probably regretting everything, so she came to me. Her usual arrogance was gone, replaced by a fawning, flattering demeanor. My family's company, Miller Pharmaceuticals, had been a leader in anti-cancer drug manufacturing for generations. We were the undisputed authority in the field. Her original marriage proposal was a demand for half of my shares in the company. My parents had shut that down immediately and forcefully later. I had secretly given her a half-finished research project along with the entire research team as our engagement present. Now, I was taking it back. I sighed dramatically and tossed the pile of burnt papers. She brought me directly into the trash can. It has to badly burn. Even I can't analyze anything from this, you know. After I graduated, I went straight into managing the company. I haven't done hands-on research in a long time. My technical skills are probably not even as good as yours. Now then, I offered some more comfort. You worked all night. You should get some rest. Besides, you have other research projects that are close to fruition. Losing this one isn't the end of the world. Her face darkened. She knew exactly what her company was worth. She had nothing. All her other projects combined weren't worth a fraction of this one. I twisted the knife again. Don't be too hard on yourself after all. You were busy all night. You did your best. I'm sure your employees won't blame you. I made sure to emphasize the words busy all night. The more I comforted her, the worse her expression became. I had to admit, holding back laughter is a skill. I fought the urge to burst out laughing, maintaining my soft, gentle tone of comfort. Isabella asked me to lend her the research team again for a while, to recreate the drug from scratch. I refused on spot. Isabella, you know the company isn't just mine. Lending you these people for 2 years was already pushing my limits. She paused, her eyes darting around. Ethan, could you just give me a new drug you've already developed? Your corporation is huge. You could spare one. That way I wouldn't have to borrow your people and you wouldn't be in a tough spot. Jesus Christ. This woman was trying to fleece me for everything I was worth in the original plot. She had made this exact request and my love-addled original self had actually agreed, handing over our company's unpatented drugs without a second thought. My sacrifice was completely ignored later. Caleb became her personal assistant back in college. Caleb had always been jealous of my wealth and status. He was constantly making passive-aggressive comments about me. I never paid him any mind, but one day my friend said enough and taught him a lesson he wouldn't forget. After that, he never dared to show his face around me again. Of course, that incident only deepened his bizarre, unfounded hatred for Maid Isabella's company. Emboldened by her favor, he antagonized me at every turn, and Isabella always took his side after one particularly childish frame-up. She actually locked me in the basement and left me to starve to death. In the original plot, I was a complete and utter love-struck fool with my skills, my family's money and influence. I could have crushed both of them with my little toe. The moment I had that thought, the system's warning blared, "Warning, host. You cannot harm the heroine, you cannot deviate from the plot. Doing so will cause the world to collapse." And it looked like I had to keep playing the part of the lovesick idiot. Thinking about my pathetic death in the original story, I shuddered and shook my head. There was no way I was going out in such a humiliating way. My only goal now was to get through this stupid plot as quickly as possible. Kick Isabella to the curb and get on with my own life for the rival scheme. Caleb was now working as Isabella's assistant at her company, and my phone was suffering for it every other day. He'd send me suggestive photos of himself with Isabella, and whenever we met he'd strut around like he owned the place. The picture of arrogance to all this, I put on a show of weeping and wailing while internally my monologue was a string of F-bombs. After endless patience and concessions, my opportunity finally arrived. "Baby, it's your birthday today. I've been planning this surprise for 6 months." Isabella cut me off impatiently. "A birthday can be celebrated anytime. This is a matter of life and death. Can't you be a man and be a little more magnanimous?" After scolding me, she slammed the door without a second thought and rushed off. Once she was gone, I calmly wiped away my fake tears. "System, did you hear the second male lead's request?" Of course, just now. I was worried his little scratch would heal too quickly and fail to arouse Isabella's protective instincts, so I helped him raise the standard a little bit. I asked, intrigued, how high? A video feed materialized in front of me. The Caleb in the video was actually crying. He even back. When my friend beat him up and left him in a bathroom stall, he hadn't cried this hard. His arm was bent at a grotesque angle, twisted up behind his head. His whole body was sledged inside the mangled frame of his car. It was truly pathetic. I pointed to his other arm, which was still moving freely while only one broken arm. "Are you losing your touch?" Two broken arms would have been so much better symmetrical. Twice the protective instinct. For the first time, the system seemed offended. It snorted, "Just watch what I do next time." My broken bone takes months to heal. Isabella would have to take care of Caleb for a while. I was finally free from my acting duties after delegating my work at the company. I went on a week-long carefree vacation, only returning reluctantly after his arm was broken. Caleb became even clingier with Isabella for the next, while he used all sorts of excuses to call her away, and every time Isabella left, I'd get the popcorn ready. This was way more entertaining than any Hollywood blockbuster. After he experienced a series of bizarre incidents, falling down the stairs while walking, scalding his hand while boiling water, getting hit by a falling flower pot, being mugged, getting beaten up by a child, he finally seemed to catch on. He shut his mouth and stopped telling lies so casually, but how could a pathological liar change his ways so easily? Similarly, every time Isabella went to see Caleb, she used the excuse of having a work emergency. As a result, her company was plagued with problems. Even something as improbable as a cockroach jamming the office door lock happened. In just 2 weeks, her company lost 3 major projects, and even potential partnerships that were still in negotiation were forced to a halt. Now a dark cloud hung over the entire company. Some of the older employees were even suggesting they hire an exorcist to get rid of the bad luck. Overwhelmed and stressed, Isabella no longer had time to visit Caleb in the hospital, so she came up with the brilliant ideas. He wanted me to go to the hospital to take care of him in my spare time. The nerve of asking her fiancé to take care of her lover. Not even Cleopatra was that audacious. Of course I refused on the spot. "Are you kidding me? The sight of that disgusting face made me want to ticket. The thought of taking care of him was out of the question because I refused her request. She started giving me the cold shoulder again. She didn't contact me for over a month and didn't come home. I was secretly thrilled, but on the surface I kept sending her those nauseously sweet text messages every day. This period was perfect. I could focus on handling matters of my own corporation. I had already restarted the research on that anti-cancer drug and the progress was astounding. I thought these carefree days would last a little longer. I didn't expect to get a call from Isabella so soon. Caleb's being discharged from the hospital today. His leg was broken a while back too. He doesn't have any friends here, so I told him he could stay with us for a while for the time being. Don't go out, stay home and take care of him all. And Caleb likes barbecue ribs and mac and cheese. He's a patient, so you better be nice to him. Before I could say a word, she hung up. Even with my good temper, I almost had an aneurysm. When the two of them got home, they happened to run into me as I was about to leave. Isabella was helping Caleb walk in very slowly, afraid they were carrying some sort of pathogen. I deliberately stepped to the side to give them a wide berth. Who knew that this simple gesture would once again wound Caleb's fragile ego? Ethan, if you don't like me, you can just say so. You don't have to insult me like this. He was really trying to frame me. I hadn't even bothered to look at the pathetic pair. Caleb had one arm draped over Isabella's shoulder, his hand casually brushing against her chest. His voice was choked with emotion, his expression aggrieved as if he'd suffered some great injustice. Ethan, you will apologize to Caleb right now. My response was to completely ignore her. Sorry, you two have fun. I have a trip to catch. I was almost out the door before Isabella snapped out of it and George, stop right there. Didn't I tell you to take care of Caleb? Who gave you permission to leave? One idiot. I spread my hands helplessly. I never agreed to that, and do you have any idea what I'm worth? Have you ever calculated how much money I make in a minute? Can you even afford to hire me as a servant? Caleb started crying even more pitifully. Isabella, maybe I should just go. I don't want you two to fight because of me. Isabella comforted him softly. I said you're staying here, so you're staying. Don't worry. No one is going to bully you. By the time she looked up again, I was long gone. According to the original plot, I would have been manipulated by Isabella into actually taking care of her lover. That period would have been filled with nothing but frustration and danger, but thankfully, I was no longer the man I was. In this time I was leaving for a real reason. The trip was just to cover. My real goal was to push through the development of that anti-cancer drug and completely block any chance of Isabella making a comeback. Clinical trials for a new drug take at least 6 months of formal testing. That was fine. Before that, I would build up the hype, let the world know that this drug was developed by Miller Pharmaceuticals. In just 2 months, we had a finished product and announced the news to the public. The industry was instantly thrown into an uproar. Now I had truly blocked all of Isabella's hopes. I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Host, congratulations. You will soon be free to be yourself. When it said soon, it meant very soon. When I returned, Isabella's attitude had done a complete 180. She was suddenly gentle and considerate. Her company was on the verge of bankruptcy. If she didn't get an investor, she'd have it shut down for good, so she hoped I could either give her a large sum of money or help her find an investor. I thought about the plot and agreed to find her an investor. In the original story, she also seeks investment. But back then she had announced the development of a miracle drug. Her reputation was soaring and investors were lining up at her, or she eventually found a private equity titan and they were just about to sign a contract when Caleb sabotaged it. He then pinned the whole thing on me. A furious Isabella slapped me in front of everyone, left me standing in the pouring rain and forbade me from moving from that spot. I can't believe that night it actually started pouring and my original self stood there in that exact spot all night long. The ordeal left him with severe long-term health problems. Just thinking about it made my stomach turn again. With my connections, Isabella once again reached a deal with that same investor. During the contract signing, Caleb, as expected, was ready to cause trouble. He sent all the employees away and, using the same old trick, plopped himself down right on the contract, even wiggling around to make sure it was good and true. And who do you think Isabella will believe? You or me? I smirked. Who she believed was irrelevant. What mattered was that Caleb was finished. Only an idiot like him couldn't see that Isabella's company was already on its last legs. If this deal fell through, the only thing waiting for Isabella was bankruptcy, her future versus her lover. I was dying to see how she would choose. Isabella would never blame me. She loves me the most. A few minutes later, the conference room door opened. Caleb's expression changed in an instant. Isabella, it's all my fault. I saw him hiding something and I went to check. But he pushed me down and I accidentally ruined the contract. Chloe's face, which had been smiling, instantly fell when she heard the contract was ruined. What did you say? She shoved Caleb aside and saw the contract, now bearing a large ash-shaped print. The most important signature was now smudged and ruined by whatever was on his pants. Isabella was about to lose it. What did you do? She lunged at me, ready to hit me, but was stopped by the investor's bodyguards. Mr. Miller. Calm down. Mr. Miller was the one who strongly recommended this partnership. What reason would he have to destroy the contract? He's just jealous that Isabella is nice to me, Caleb quickly added from the side. I smiled and pointed to the newly installed security camera in the corner. There's no point in a shouting match. Let's just check the security footage. The moment Caleb saw the camera, he froze, and when he saw Isabella walking toward the monitor, his head lolled to the side and he fainted. Isabella immediately forgot everything else and rushed Caleb to the hospital. Watching them leave, the investor and I exchanged a knowing smile. Thanks for the help, Mr. Miller. If your company ever needs investment, remember to call me first. Definitely. By the time Isabella got to the hospital, she received a message from the investor officially canceling the partnership. She was exhausted when she finally got home late that night. Before she could speak, I used so many of my resources and connections to get you that investment and you just threw it away. Do you have any idea how angry they were after you left? They were even threatening to pull their investment from my family's corporation. Isabella knew she was in the wrong, but she was too stubborn to admit it. Instead, just like before, she tried to shift all the blame onto me. If you hadn't been fighting with Caleb, this deal wouldn't have failed. Do you know how important this partnership was to me? Distorting the truth and still acting so self-righteous. I had to admit she had a certain talent. I angrily threw the tablet with the security footage at her. Watch this yourself. See who really ruined the contract, and even if the contract was ruined, we could have just printed a new one and resigned it. It was you who just left the investors sitting there. That's why he got angry and pulled out after yelling at her. I turned and left the house in situations like this. Do you have to get away from idiots? I'll shorten your lifespan. After watching the video, Isabella finally understood that she had wrongly accused me, but it was too late. Somehow the story got out and her reputation was ruined. The team that had been with her from the beginning was completely disappointed by her recent behavior and left one by one. Her company was now teetering on the absolute edge of bankruptcy. After Isabella found out that Caleb had deliberately ruined the contract, she started to distance herself from him. Even when Caleb tried to contact her, she was dismissive. Her previous warmth gone, but Caleb wasn't about to let this fool go. He decided to go all in one day. Isabella was still begging me to arrange another meeting with the investor to talk about an apology and another chance at the partnership. Suddenly the doorbell rang. Isabella went to open it. Caleb was standing outside. His face was pale, making him look even more pitiable. He softly murmured, "Isabella," and 2 streams of tears rolled down his cheeks. I silently pulled out my popcorn. Here we go again, Shotan. Caleb threw his arms around Isabella and sobbed. Isabella, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I know you hate me, but I just love you so much. I was so scared of losing you. So scared that you would actually fall in love with Ethan. I just wanted to prove how important I was to you, Isabella. I don't have much time left. The moment he started crying, Isabella lost all composure when she heard his last words. She asked anxiously, "What are you talking about? What do you mean you don't have much time left?" Caleb pulled out a crumpled up medical report. "I have cancer. It's terminal, the doctor said. I have 3 months at most. I'm an orphan. I've never known what it's like to be loved. I don't have much time left. I just hope you can stay with me for the little time I have left. I grabbed a large handful of popcorn. The exact same lines from the original plot. Watching a live performance was so much more satisfying than just reading it. Isabella completely believed Caleb's story and agreed on the spot. Even though she had just promised me she would never contact Caleb again, that she would be completely devoted to me in the original plot, I would have gotten angry and questioned her. I would have been guilt-tripped by Caleb and berated by Isabella for being cruel. But the new went on the offensive cancer, huh? Brain cancer? Stomach cancer? Whatever. Doesn't matter. What's important is I agree. If you have any other requests, just name them. My words left Caleb speechless. His mouth moved faster than his brain and two words tumbled out. A wedding. A wedding? Sure. No problem. Have you picked out the outfits? Do you need me to find a planner for you? Neither of them had expected my reaction. Isabella was the first to recover, giving me a satisfied smile. Ethan, you did well this time. Caleb also flashed a triumphant grin. Unfortunately, I couldn't smile. If I did, my smile would have been bigger than his abracadabra. Alakazam, your wish is my command. Caleb's wish has been fulfilled with my full support. Caleb and Isabella had a lavish wedding. On the day of the wedding, I made sure it was broadcast city wide and hired numerous media outlets to live stream it. Finally, under the officiant's guidance, the two exchanged vows of undying love. The gist of it was that they would never leave each other, in sickness and in health, till death do they part. But before they could get to their happy wedding night, Caleb collapsed at the reception, vomiting blood. When he woke up, he was still lost in his delusion. Ignoring the doctor at his side, he looked at Isabella with unwavering determination. My last wish is to see my name on a marriage certificate with yours, Isabella. S eyes filled with tears. Without hesitation, she agreed. Okay, let's go right now. Caleb finally got his wish and obtained a marriage certificate with Isabella. He tried to call his parents, wanting them to spread the news all over the internet. But no matter how many times he called, no one answered. Little did he know his wish had already come true, and he was now an orphan after all this. Caleb finally showed his true colors. What do you have to fight me with this time? I'm never letting go. I smiled. Don't you worry. Not even death will be able to tear you two apart. I never thought that even after all this, he still wouldn't let me go. I had just gotten home one day when I saw Isabella, her face cold, comforting a distraught Caleb. When Caleb saw me, he looked aggrieved. Ethan, I never knew you were so vicious. I'm already like this, and you still won't leave me alone, huh? My final scene had arrived. The scene that, in the original plot, had cost me my life. In that version, Caleb was faking his illness. Afraid of being exposed, he decided to get rid of me. He hired a thug to stage an attack which Isabella was designed to save him from. The thug then claimed that I had paid him to go after Cora. In a choice between the two of us, I was always the one to be thrown away. The outcome was predictable. Isabella's face was a mask of cold indifference. Since you're so cruel, then you can have a taste of your own medicine. She locked me in the basement and left me there to starve. Ethan, do you have anything to say for yourself? I shrugged and turned on the TV. The thug was still pointing his finger at me, but the TV was revealing the truth. In the video, Caleb and the thug were sitting together laughing and talking. Bro, I can't believe how pretty that dumb broad is. But she's got rats for brains. You tell her you're sick and she actually buys it. Keep your voice down. Someone might hear. Remember what I told you. Once I get all her money, I'm selling her to human traffickers in Yemen. That bitch is great in bed. She'll definitely fetch a high price at the end. He left behind a photo and a stack of cash. Isabella shoved Caleb away, staring at him in disbelief. Why would you do this? Just as Caleb was about to speak, he coughed up a mouthful of blood and collapsed to his knees. Izzy, but this time, Isabella no longer believed him. She walked up and kicked him squarely in the face. Get out. The sight of you makes me sick. She thought Caleb was faking it, but he really did have cancer and he didn't have much time left. Isabella didn't believe it. She grabbed the doctor by the collar and demanded he run the test again. But the facts were the facts. Caleb's body was deteriorating rapidly. His hair was falling out in clumps. He screamed in agony day after day, but the parents he so desperately waited for never came. Even Isabella never once came to see him as an upstanding man. I naturally couldn't stand by and watch such behavior. I posted the video of Isabella kicking Caleb online with the system's help. I compiled all their recent intimate photos and videos into a PowerPoint presentation and posted that as well. In an instant, public opinion swung in Caleb's favor. Everyone was condemning Isabella. As a despicable woman, Isabella was in a tough spot and couldn't defend herself. After all, their wedding of the century had just happened not long ago. By this point, all feelings were gone. Caleb hired a lawyer and sued Isabella because the video evidence I posted was irrefutable. Isabella was arrested on the spot and sentenced to 3 years in prison. She appealed the verdict and demanded that I testify for her. I just shook my head. Why are you asking me? I don't know anything, thankfully. Our relationship had always been a secret. He never allowed me to tell anyone about us. Now, she was finally admitting I was her boyfriend, but no one believed her. Not long after, Caleb passed away in agony and Isabella completely disappeared from the public eye. Logically, the mission should have been complete. The system should have left, or I should have returned to my own world. But neither happened. I was still in this world, and so we stayed for another 3 years. In those 3 years, my company reached new heights and I became a renowned business magnate. I thought my life would continue on this path forever until Isabella was released from prison that day. I was on my way to a meeting in my company when a hunched figure blocked my path. I was startled. The security guards rushed over. Sorry, Mr. Miller, this person has been hanging around for a few days. We thought she was homeless and didn't pay her any mind. The system's alert. Let me know that this person was Isabella. Ethan. It's me. Isabella, her voice was raspy. I know you still love me. I know you're still waiting for me. Seeing the disgust in my eyes, she became desperate to prove herself. Ethan, I swear you're the only one I've ever loved. If I'm lying, I hope I get hit by a car and sent flying. That familiar voice echoed once more. Abracadabra. Dealakazam, your wish is my command. The next second, a car suddenly swerved onto the sidewalk. It slammed into Isabella, sending her flying. She sailed through the air for a good 30 feet before she landed, dying on impact. The man who got out of the car was Caleb's old accomplice. He looked terrified, fell to his knees and screamed, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." The car moved on its own. Just when I thought it was all over, the system's voice sounded in the depths of my mind. The voice was both strange and familiar, filled with an infinite gentleness. I'm leaving now, Ethan. From now on, you are free. My eyes widened in disbelief, and then a realization hit me and tears streamed down my face. That voice, it was my own.